I want to show you the Notebooks feature in Azure Machine Learning Studio and walk you through how we can use Python, Markdown, and cloud compute instances to help us do quick data science experiments and visualizations and things like that in the cloud where we can share them with our team in a secure environment. I also want to walk you through making sure that your cloud compute instances are shut down properly and some steps you can do to make sure you don't get unexpected bills. So let's take a look. So here I am in a notebook inside of my Azure Machine Learning Studio instance. If I was in home, it would have dumped me into this screen here, but I could click Start Now. It takes me to Notebooks, and I can click on a notebook I have over here. I can also right-click and say Create New File, and then manually create a new notebook. But this is one that I created not too long ago. So a notebook is a collection of cells. So we have these markdown cells here, which are just markdown code, like the same we might see on GitHub or something else. And we can take this and make modifications to it. Hit Control Enter or Shift Enter, and it actually modifies your generated documentation. So here I've got two markdown cells and then a code cell. This is a Python code cell. So here I'm saying int I equals 5, and then, well, actually I'm not saying int, it's too much C# for math, but I'm saying I equals 5, and I can change that to something else, so I is 42. When I run this, I see 42 below that. That's because the last line here is I, and Jupyter Notebook cells are always going to log out the last value if you have a line with just a value on it. Now, variables that you define in one cell can be used in other cells. So here's another markdown cell that basically saying that, and here's another Python cell that prints out I is currently, and then the value of I converted to a string. So this is I is currently 42. So this is a very simple notebook, but you can use this to run the Python ML SDK. You can do data visualization with Plotly or ggplot or matplotlib or something similar to that, Seaborn, things like that. You can do machine learning experiments using scikit-learn or PyTorch or whatever it might be, and tabular data manipulation using pandas. So a lot of stuff you can do in the cloud. You can do all this locally, but doing this in Azure also helps you share it with your team and keep it in a secure environment. Now, you do need some compute resources to run this, so you have to select what compute resources you have available. I have another video on creating and defining these compute resources, but you have to actually start your compute resource. Now, when you're done, you want to make sure you stop it by clicking the stop button, and that'll shut it down so you're not being billed for it when it's not in use. Okay? But let me show you another tip here for this. So if we go to compute, I can find my compute instances, and here I only have one. We can see it's currently stopping. We also see this nice little schedule thing here. So this tells me that I have set this to shut down automatically after 30 minutes of inactivity, and I also have it set to shut down every day at 3 a.m. UTC. So if I click in on this, I can see the schedules. I've set up some schedules for this. So idle shutdown activity, 30 minutes of inactivity, and then every day of the week, I want to make sure it's shut down like clockwork so I don't have this running for multiple days on end and billing me for that. Now you can set up rules for yourself by checking this enable idle shutdown. I think it defaults to 60. I changed mine to 30 minutes. And then I can change it to start or stop the compute instance on a given time throughout the week. And I can have multiple rules like this. So I can, hey, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I want you to start it up right before everybody's going to be in the office. Or when it's after hours, I want you to go ahead and shut it down. Okay? Now you can still manually start and stop these machines, the compute instances, but this helps you manage your spend and make sure you don't get billed. These generally are pretty affordable, but still it's nice to not get billed for something you're not actually using. So that's compute instances in a nutshell. I think they're nice for running these little Azure notebooks in Machine Learning Studio. I tend to not use notebooks as much as I use a local Jupyter notebook, but you and your team may find a lot of value in being able to share the same notebooks with each other and store them in the cloud in a secure way. But find what works for you, but that's just one part of Azure Machine Learning Studio, and it's kind of neat.